seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. The Trap Podcast presents the New Breeder on the Block series. What is good, everybody? I'm your boy, MJ. If this is your first time tapping in, what is good? Do your boy a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That we're on top of every single podcast I drop here on the Trap Podcast YouTube channel. If you're into reptiles, no matter what the species is, this is the right channel for you. If it comes to you wanting to learn or gain more knowledge on how to keep or breed, don't go anywhere further. This is it. I bring some of the best, newest of the newest, all the above to this channel, so you could gain a lot. So definitely hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified on every single show. I just want to say shout out to all my subscribers out there. Appreciate all the love and support. If you are looking for exclusive content, if you'd like to get more behind the scenes, or if you just want to support what I do your boy a favor. Go down to the link below. Click on the Trap Talk Patreon family link. Join the Patreon family. Come join us. We're growing by the day. As soon as you become a Patreon member, I send you a link to the Discord. Discord taps you in with over 125 trappers, so many different channels, so many things to gain from. Anywhere from sharing projects, seeing what's available. If you have stuff available, it's just a really good place to be, and it's growing. So I got to say, first and foremost, shout out to my Patreon members. I love you guys. You guys are my heart. You guys really motivate me to keep going and going strong. So I appreciate that. And if you want to be a part of that, like I said, go down the link, click that link, join the Trap Talk Patreon family, and I will shoot you that Discord. Shout out to all the early birds. You guys are my real ones. I swear to God, all the guys and girls that are tapping in before this show even starts, all the early birds, I see you guys. I'll get to you guys in just a second. But I will have to say that this episode is brought to you by the Reptile Super Show. Shout out to Rami, and shout out to Bob Ashley and Brian Potter over at the NARBC. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to linking up with people, setting up connections, knowing what to do with your next step. All these things happen here at these shows. It's very important. I'm telling you right now. I don't know how much I need to stress about this. If you think you're somebody who's just going to do this by just sitting in your basement or office or your mom's fucking room, whatever, wherever, I don't know. If you think you're just not going to be able to do it without connecting with people, you're wrong. I'm telling you right now. Shoot, the guy Anthony that we're having on right now, I got to meet him in Texas. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be awesome. I'm telling you, it's great. Please make it out to these shows if you can. It really changes up the dynamic when it comes to you keeping these reptiles, especially you content creators. No one's going to know who the fuck you are if you just are just an Instagram killer. You know what I mean? Go meet people. Go show your face. Rami, thank you for being a leader. Brian Potter, Bob Ashley, what a time. Thank you so much. NARBC Arlington was a time. Texas never disappoints. Texas is unmatched. I'll tell you that right now. Man, it always goes by too quick, unfortunately. So, but that's when you know the show's good. And then I actually bought a snake. If you want to know what snake I bought, join the Patreon page. Hey, listen, shout out to anyone who vended. Shout out to you if you were vending and I ran into you. We talked. Proud of anyone out there vending, even though times could seem to be getting weird with these permits. Who cares, man? Make it happen. I don't want to get too much into it right now before the show starts, but maybe this permit thing is a good thing. I don't know. I mean, if you don't got 6 snakes, what the hell do you have anything to worry about, right? So we'll get into that. But yes, guys, I just want to say, early birds, who's here? Let's get to the early birds. Who's here? Early birds, where we at? It's going to have a good show. Wise guys, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. By the way, oh, yep. Look who it is. It's my boy Adler. This is my dog right here, okay? So please go give him a follow on Instagram. Also go follow his art page, A&E Foundry. But this guy is behind the scenes working for your boy. I'm not going to say too much, but he's doing big things. If you actually pay attention to the camera quality, look at this camera right now, bro. I'm not using my Mac camera. I'm using the actual camera that I invested in, and I finally got it going. So that's all because of the homie Adler who helped me out. Thank you, Adler. Big things coming. Go give him a follow, and I appreciate your support. He's also a Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thank you for your support. Big Mike, 1776 Exotics, Flex in Florida, the OG Patreon member, my first Patreon member right here. Still here to this day, showing me mad love and support. Appreciate you, dog. Jake Hole, what is up, Jake Hole? Trap Talk Patreon member in the building. Josh Squires, happy birthday, player. I'm glad you're here kicking it, listening to your favorite podcast on your birthday. That's what I love to see. Thank you for tapping in. And again, go give my boys some love on Instagram. Go give him a follow. Happy birthday to the homie Josh Squires. Cohans, what is up? Nisarg, what is up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Lizard Man, 0897, nice meeting you. This guy was at NARBC Arlington. Got to meet him. It was a great time. And his lady. And he's a Trap Talk Patreon member. Salucci. He was rocking a damn pocket tee, limited edition, all day, every day. Look at the homie Josh in the building. Scale Fins and Feathers. Just had an amazing clutch of green tree monitors. One of my biggest dreamy goals in this reptile game is to hatch out not only any monitor, but definitely a green tree monitor. My boy did that. Go give him a follow on Scale Fins and Feathers on Instagram. He's killing it. And he's a Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Eric's More Factory, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Runyon Reptiles, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. House of Hiss, what is up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Jason in the building, Genomic Labs. The homie Ricky Bobby SRT, Trap Talk Patreon member. This fool's sick as fuck. Go give him a follow. The homie Sean Perry, what is up? Trap Talk Patreon member, what is up? All day, every day. Hissy Fits Reptiles, Trap Talk Patreon member. The homie Jay, Barbara J in the building, Trap Talk Patreon member all day. The homie Cruz, the local homie Cruz, what is up, player? We will be linking up soon. Yeah, be ready. One of my newest Patreon members. Appreciate the love and support, but please go give this guy a follow. MKB Reptiles, one of the newest Trap Talk Patreon members. Thank you so much. Shit's about to get heavy. I appreciate you. Julio Fulio, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Got the whole family here. I love it. PCF, Funny Royals, what is good? The homie Steve, what is good? JKJ Reptiles, what is good? All right, we're going to end this in style. Oh, look, we're going to end this with the homie right here. I just called him the homie. Yeah, he's the homie. Sean, what's up, Sean? Thanks for tapping in. Sean Bradley. That's a pretty good one to end with. I'll say that right now. Sean, I appreciate you tapping in. And yeah, let's go. Okay, I'm sorry. Can we please just say shout to Matthew Summers? He's still my friend. And yeah, he's in love. And yeah, he cancels shows and doesn't go anymore, but he's still my friend. So let's just kind of get that out there. And then, okay, last but not least, my wife. Love my wife. Let's go. Oh my God. God, there's a damn, look at that. Super chat, right? Hey, listen, guys, before we get into things, I also want to say, don't be shy with the super chats. If you have a question, if you have a topic, anything that you really feel like is important, drop a super chat. Don't be shy with the super chats. I appreciate the super chats. And let's go. Let's get things rocking and rolling because it's Monday. Yeah, I had a crazy weekend, but that does not mean I stop Mondays from happening because it's New Breed on the Block series. And we have somebody who came highly recommended from somebody who is best dressed at these shows. And his name is Troy Schroeder. Love you, Troy. Actually, guys, do your boy a favor. Go to the last episode after this, obviously. Once you catch this episode, go check out the live NARBC I had at Troy Schroeder and JD Constrictor's table. It was a fucking time. But guys, it's New Breed on the Block time. Here we have my boy, Anthony Joyner of Joy 7 Reptiles. Let's go. Gee!
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it.
And we're live. Joy 7 Reptiles. Anthony Joyner in the building. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for being here, my man. I'm so glad you're here because like we were talking earlier, this everything you do with the reptiles is just a hobby. It's just for fun, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, listen, this is all about having fun. Really, I have anywhere from the most serious to just non-serious, never kept a document in his life keeper on here. It really doesn't matter what level you want to take it. It just matters if you're taking care of the animal, period, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, but what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for being here tonight.
Doing good. Got to meet you for the first time in person over the weekend, so that was great at NARPC. So happy to be here on the show and ask away whatever questions you have, and anyone who wants to chime in as well. I'm pretty much an open book. I'm new to this, so I'm happy to learn along the way and glean as much information as I can as I'm going along. So excited to be here.
Yeah. So listen, at the end of the day, Anthony, you're not one of those newer keepers that come in where you're making a lot of noise as far as you putting your face on stories and like doing all this outlandish stuff. You're being noticed by people I look up to in the game. And like I said, Troy Schroeder, there was somebody else who mentioned your name as well. It's not getting to me, but what I'm saying is seems like you're surrounding yourself already with the right people, or is it just how did you meet somebody like Troy? Let's kind of start from there.
Yeah, sure. I just even the start of ball pythons in general. It was my second oldest son, the summer of 2020. Yeah, the summer of 2020. He out of the blue wanted to get a ball python from Petco. And I said, let's not take that route. So we essentially just first looked local and found a group of breeders in the Texas area, and found a guy that was just probably about 30 minutes away from us, Matt Spitzner, just a local guy. And we found our very first ball python, which was a banana spider male, which is typical.
What a pick.
Right. We didn't know what we were doing,
Yeah.
It was a beautiful animal, and we did our homework. We figured, hey, let's bring this home, my son, and it all started from there. And that was July of 2020. And I've been in other type of breeder type of hobbies. I was big into reef keeping before my family, we moved into this new house. I had big reef aquariums and all that kind of stuff. But my wife, she didn't want this huge, massive reef in our house. So we did literally all still in the garage right now. I still have all that expensive stuff in the garage, hoping that one day I could start that up. But somehow ball pythons came into the mix. And so, I would say I have a nice, casual, addictive personality. And so I like the snake and I like the ball python. And so what did I do? I found out where the right people should be, right? And that put, I would say, September 2020 was our first NARBC here in Arlington that we went to. And that was, I love going to conventions. I love going to where you would expect the people, the hobbyists, the breeders, or whatever your hobby is, whatever your passion is. That's where I'd like to go and like to rub shoulders with those types of people. And so I figured, hey, let's go to a conference and let's figure out who those people are. And one of those first people that I met was Troy, and I ended up buying a killer, a super pastel female clown from him. I was talking to Troy. I was like, man, I have this perfect picture of my daughter, my young daughter, who's wearing her mask at the time, and she's got this, this brand new female clown in her hands that she just loved to death, and I bought it for her. That's what I told my wife, at least. And so we brought that home, and 2 years later, that female's at about 2,000 grams, and she's probably ready to go here pretty soon. So yeah, it literally started from there, and I just got addicted to it, like you would assume. And I pretty much just looked for, like you said, and I would say probably I would assume what we're discussing here is making sure that you're aligning yourself with the right people, and especially in this industry, making sure that if you're wanting to the best, or if you're whatever direction you're wanting to go, I really made sure that I was, choosing wisely. So I can easily say that even in my short time, I've been burned, here and there. I'm never going to say any names or anything like that, but it happens.
Well, Anthony, just so you know, you can. You so can if you want. I mean, hey, listen, no pressure, but you totally can if you want. Just so you know.
Sure. No worries. So yeah, and that's where we are today. Here we are. NARBC, September of 2020, literally 2 years later, and I literally went and just counted, and we had our first clutch about 2 months ago. I literally just cut our second clutch last night. And with those two clutches, we have about 65 ball pythons now. So in 2 years.
That's exciting. It's crazy how quick it jumps on.
Right. And I have to remind my wife, this is how I explain it to my wife. All I'm doing is moving money from here to here. That's it.
It's all play money. It's all monopoly money.
Right.
Yeah.
So having fun, enjoying it, meeting great people. It's a great industry. People have been really nice, very helpful, very friendly, a great direction. I couldn't be more happier with the people that we've met. So,
well, first and foremost, I've not been a hobbyist all around the board with different types of pets or animals that you can keep, but I do know a little bit about the reefing game. Shit's not easy. It's expensive. Things can go wrong very easily, very quick. So how long did you do that for? I'm just curious. And was that just something you grew up loving, or did you just kind of just roll the dice at it, kind of like how you're doing with ball pythons?
Yeah, it was a great question. Actually, when I was 18 years old, when I was a freshman at University of Missouri, my roommate actually had African cichlids, and I just loved them. I mean, he showed me their territorial, aggressive nature, and I was just really drawn to them. So I actually started keeping African cichlids back when I was 18 years old. We're talking about 1994, 95. I started keeping African cichlids then, and then as that just kind of progressed after a couple of years. Into saltwater. Actually, it was my wife. I got, after we got finished with school, my wife was like, I'd really like to, if we're going to get a big tank, I'd really like it to be, something really nice, really saltwater. So that really pushed me into saltwater. That was like in 2000, I think 2000. Yeah, about 2000 is when that happened. I was keeping, that just evolved into reefs and clams and you name it. You're talking about expensive reefs, coral propagation, you name it. I was deep into all of that, and buying and selling expensive corals online and shipping and all that kind of stuff as well. So I was pretty deep into that all the way up until we moved here. That in Prosper, Texas, which was in 2014. So literally in 2014, I got rid of all of that stuff, kept the most expensive stuff with the hopes of, getting that started again. And it just never did. We have 5 kids. It's the past, 6, 7, 8 years, our kids they've grown up. They've taken over our lives with all their extracurricular stuff. And so I just never got back into that. And then I think the ball pythons, really, I looked at it more of as a way to spend time with my kids. To be honest, I think that was something that I felt like, I'd love to take the opportunity to do something together and have something that they all enjoyed and we can do together as a family. So that's what I tell myself how it started.
How many kids you have, Anthony?
5.
Woo! Okay, so for sure, 1 out of the 5 has to be down for this ball python game, which is good.
They really love it, and my wife was somewhat engaged. No, I'll be honest. She was like, "This is nuts," but I trust you, and she's always trusted me. I've been, very blessed in a lot of my business ventures. So she's really just, hey, I trust you. You're not going to do something stupid that we're going to lose our house over or anything like that, which we won't. So she trusted that I was doing something, and I think it was neat for her to finally, literally like after 2 years this summer, finally have our first clutch and to see that you're essentially creating something, and that was very beautiful, and I think she really enjoyed that and kind of saw the magic in it as well. So it's been fun for all of us. We may not all be scooping poop out of every tub, but at least now as a family, we all can smile and enjoy what's upstairs and what's behind me, and probably in more places in this house than my wife really wanted.
I mean, I can't, even though I feel like I'm good at predicting the future, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm fucking pretty good at it. Like if I sit here and try to predict, if I sit here really hard and I try to think what's in your clutch, if you tell me the pairing, I can kind of tell you for sure what's a visual. And I'm like, dude, I'm 10 for 10, bro. Like I don't miss, right? but I can't give you a solid prediction on this one, but I do have a good feeling that the day any of your kids are going to be happy to go ahead and get those fucking, those urates and those white poos and that nasty shit out of the tub is when they know how much money's in that project, and when they know and when it's theirs, you know what I mean?
Sure.
That's when everything changes. Because listen, at the end of the day, I hated the grunt work, man. My whole life, I always avoided any kind of grunt work, and I don't know. I don't want to blame my pops or anything, but I was pretty spoiled. Like I was always able to find a shortcut out of whatever hard work I had to do my whole life. Like I was just a professional at it. I'm not happy about it. But coming into this game, there's shortcuts you just don't take. You can't take. You take it, things will they catch up. So sure. It's the opposite effect in any reptile you keep. You don't do anything that's going to make things either breed faster. You do something that's going to keep the longevity life of the animal. You know what I mean? And a lot of this stuff doesn't happen till everyone learns differently, bro. But like how you said, how you got that spider and you just didn't know, bro. I know you haven't watched this podcast. You never heard me say this, but I had, going into my second year, I had about 60 ball pythons, right? 40 of those. I had the ratio right, but I had albino with pied and like killer bee. I had no idea about the codoms or recessives. I thought you could put whatever the hell snake that looked like to that snake, and there has to be a mix of the two, right? Literally, by the time my Instagram page went from private to unblocked, and I started gaining friends and information, and then keep in mind, half my stuff had spider in it, and that's when I realized that I would walk into my room at night, and as adults, these things would be corkscrewing like I'm talking like for hours. I remember walking into my room at 11 o'clock at night, being so horrified, trying to go to sleep. I woke up at 4 a.m. They're all doing it the same. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I don't know. It's nothing against that snake. You know what I mean? Like if you love the snake, you want to keep it, go ahead, but if you want to talk about pedigrees, or not pedigrees, but lineages of solid morphs, or something that's going to make that next snake go to the next level, for me, it was just like, I got to get the hell out of this. So I ended up having to sell like 40 of those snakes. Like and it was, and luckily I did it. It was at a time where things were hot now, but those morphs or whatever the hell I had were still sought after. It was sure. Right before this turning point where these damn double recessives were coming out and triple. It was like, I think it was 2017, I want to say. So, but listen, at the end of the day, once you pick up on something and you realize you're not happy with that situation, you need to act quick. You can't just sit on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very important. So you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So let's kind of talk about, some of the first steps forward with the investment side of things, because there's a lot of roads you can take. I was a heck guy. I couldn't afford visuals. I'm not gonna lie. I came in this with Home Depot built racks. I literally had plastic Home Depot racks. I didn't give a shit. No shame. But I was all about trying to get really good snakes, though. So I had to do what I had to do. I figured I always knew hets were it for me, because if I can't afford it, I could get the het from a good ass reliable breeder, like somebody with a solid name to basically signify like, okay, that het will prove out. You don't have nothing to worry about. And that's basically what I did. What did you do? I mean, are you coming in this buying visuals? And if that's the case, who are some of the first people you started investing in with?
Sure. I would say, once I started looking at this and trying to understand everything a little bit more outside of just getting something that I visually liked here and there, I think that's where it started. I said, hey, that looks good. And to be honest, not realizing that, as ball pythons grow up, they don't keep that, that same sexy appeal as their, 150 to 300 gram, adolescent self. And so, but naturally so, they grow, but the opportunities were, hey, as I watched videos, as I kind of, looked at different breeders and who was doing what, it seemed like the message that I heard over and over again is, if you want to do this smart, like, be patient, take your time, don't rush it, and invest in females, right? And I've heard it over and over again, too many people spending too much money on these males, if they wanted to breed, that if they spent too much money on these males, that what's the purpose of buying a male if you don't have any females? In the longevity of that male, if you look at it from an investment perspective, let's say you buy a $10,000 male, right? Well, that $10,000 male over the next couple of years, its value may decrease. It may continue to produce, but if you don't have any females for it right away, then you even if you put yourself out a year, like that same male could be $2,000 less the next year. And so essentially all I learned was invest in your females. So out of those, let's say just a base of 60 snakes that we have, I would say 40 plus that we have are females. And mostly what I went after were visuals. I pretty much got all visuals. Now, I know that not everybody's not in that same financial situation. This is obviously not my
bro, there's levels to this, and all due respect. I've talked to people, interviewed people on all sorts of different levels, and with no disrespect to you, just because you're coming in buying visuals, that doesn't really mean shit either. You know what I mean? Like you do have definitely an advantage when it comes to ratios and what you should hit, but we're all talking about an animal that's not guaranteed to breed. You know what I mean? No matter what. So that's the same thing as far as rolling the dice that we're all on, right? Is we're buying an animal, no matter what the price is, some heads, shit, there's look at goddamn clown het DGs, $3K, you know what I mean? Easily. That's an expensive het, and that's an expensive, but also look what they're going for visually. So it makes sense, but you got to make sure you do your due diligence. You got to make sure you know who the hell you're buying from. Like that's a Babu or Levant snake or AEP or whoever the fuck, like those names that that this is what they're making. And one thing you need to consider, like a lot of these guys are, I feel like Miguel especially, right? Shout out to my boy Miguel. I feel like Miguel is curious if that snake proved out. And I feel like if you spent some sort of money with a guy like Miguel, a couple years went by and the het just didn't prove out to be what it was, I guarantee, like without you even have to asking him shit, he would take care of you somehow. That's just the kind of guy Miguel is. So that's why Miguel is my fucking number one. Like when it comes to buying ball pythons for the first couple of years, he really set me up for success. And I think a lot of other people just need to go find those guys, like find the ones that are wanting them to do good. You know what I mean? It's not always easy. Some people get the shit end of the sticks. I feel really bad for some people's situations, and it's like, I don't know what to do. I feel like it's a lot of this is luck too, Anthony. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people invest and, don't get one thing down as far as like either dialing in their temp racks and they cook everything. Like it's just a lot of fucked up shit could happen. You know what I mean? But I do want to say one thing that I hope anyone out there listening will fucking retain and hold on, because I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of people wanting to buy a female at a young age, and then wanting to get a male for it that's around the same age. That's the stupidest fucking thing I could think of, because you have no idea where the market's going to be by the time that female is ready to breed, right? So if you have nothing going on for that male, like for instance, a male best case scenario would be ready to breed in about a year. That female is going to need at least another 2 years if you're a fucking cool breeder and you're not rushing it. You know what I mean? So like what if there's another fucking male that's a powerhouse that could make things even more different? You know, like I'm just saying you're better off holding off and seeing what the best case scenario would be for that female once it's game time. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, I would say that's a lot of the perspective and the approach that I took.
Right.
Most of my females would be probably a one recessive, like let's just say, you know, a base, a pied or a clown, and maybe a one single gene that I really liked, that I knew could retain value as it would grow up. That let's say worst case scenario, like the crap hits the fan and I need to liquidate and save my house, right? Or something to that degree. And I thought, you know, what would be the best case scenario in terms of investment? Like you said, buying a very expensive male, you know, and not having anything to do with that male and sitting on that male for a while. Yes, that male may grow up and still retain some of its value, but those females that if you purchase like a $1,000 or a $2,000 female in 2 years when they're breeder ready, and if they're a recessive gene and they've got something that another gene in them that is, you know, still viable, you know, that female for the most part could probably even double in its value. And so that was my perspective and my approach on my females. So most of my females that I'm growing up right now are, you know, like a pied or a clown with like either like a Cypress female or a Wookiee female or blackhead, you know, anything type of that type of gene that I like, plus a recessive gene, knowing that as I grow those up, it's essentially an army of females that I have, so that if, let's say in 2 years, whatever, and not just me putting myself in this situation, whatever may be hot in 2 years, I can go purchase a male. Let's say it's a male at, you know, 120 grams, and I can safely grow that male for the next, you know, 6 to 7 months. That male can be ready to breed, you know, in 6 to 7 months, or let's just say safely at a year. And then that male can then go with all those females. I'm still retaining that value of that male and what that male can produce against all those females. So that's been my perspective and my approach.
Yeah, you know, it also comes down to this as well, because I'm not going to, you know, I want to help people make the right moves. I'm a natural born hustler, bro. Like I used to sell drugs. Like I know how to move shit. Like that's what I do. And anyone out there who gets hooked up in a position where, and I'm sure this happened to you, maybe Anthony, you spend good money with somebody, you get a female and they say, hey, I'm going to give you a male, or I'm going to hook you up. Take that fucking hookup. I'm not here saying don't take it, but it's up to you to fucking do. It's up to you to do something with that. Find someone, put it on Morph Market. You know, obviously I'm not into flipping. Like I'm not saying get it and flip it, establish it. Because here's the thing. I'm not saying there's no powerful male at that time and point. Like I'm saying, like do something, use that to your advantage. If you're getting hooked up on a male, but you feel like this male might not be ready, like might not be it for that female that's still growing, well then do something with it. Don't just keep feeding it and leaving it in your fucking collection. Like it's up to you to be, you know, a hustler. Like you got to figure out, like, well, do I have a homie who needs this snake? Like here's the thing. After so many years of being in this, and if you're not a dipshit or if you're not a piece of shit, you will have a big group of friends, and somebody will always need something that you have, or somebody will know something. Or if you're part of my Patreon Discord, you post that shit, it's gone. That's just how it works. So you got to do, it's a game. This is a big game, Anthony. Just like, you know, I don't really know too much of the reefing game, but I'm sure reefing, it came down to you being smart with purchases, knowing what to do with your tank if you want to keep it valuable. Like I said, I have no clue what the fuck the reefing game is, but I know it's not no damn walk in the park. I'll tell you that much, you know?
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult than the ball pythons, that's for sure. So a lot more farming, a lot more, yeah.
So I don't know if you saw, well, you probably haven't, and I'll send you, because you're obviously a friend of or acquaintances of Justin Canova, right?
Yep.
So last time I was at his place, God, I love going to his place. It's like, you know, obviously I wish Disneyland did something to me. but it doesn't. Disneyland, I go to Disneyland, it's not the same. And it literally that just changed. I don't know if it was because of COVID, but now like these damn theme parks that I used to go back to and think about it like, oh, I'm a kid, all that shit's over. Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't feel good there anymore. But when I go to places like Canova, I'm a kid, I'm a child. You know what I mean? Having a fucking great time. That being said, last time I was at Justin's, he's like, hey, do you want to go to my other facility? You know, his Plan B facility, or the minor leagues, I guess he calls it, which is over at Meister X property. Have you ever been there? Did he ever take you there?
No, I've never been to either one of his properties yet. So I was going to actually, but yeah, I actually got COVID at the time that I was going to travel through his area.
COVID. All right. Well, you're gonna thank me for this. Once that time comes and you do go over to Justin's, you need to highly request to go over to Meister X house or Meister X property, because yeah, obviously that's where his minor league facility's at. But on that same property, right above the hill, he has a reefing shit. He has a reefing system. He has coral fish. He has all this shit that is going on behind the scenes. It's not Justin's, it's Meister X stuff, but dude, it is fucking neat. And obviously it's like, you know what I mean? I had who was with me? I had somebody who had a little bit of knowledge behind the reefing game, and he was telling me how expensive everything was in there. And I'm talking like, you know, and like the rooms, there's rooms and they're all neon. Like the whole room was a neon light room. It was impressive. But I'm gonna, after this show, I'll send you the vlog I did at his place, and I did a tour in that room, and I want to know, I want you to tell me what you think of that room. I'm just very curious.
Yeah,
but like you said, not the ball python game. Like, wait, because man, here's the thing. Like, I have a good feeling, Anthony. Call me cuckoo, but the fact that you're coming from the reef game, and you just said yourself that, you know, yeah, ball python game definitely gonna be a little bit different. I think you're gonna want to tap into another species at some point. Call me crazy, but I feel like, you know, take your time, of course, do your thing. But I think once this ball python shit gets moving for you and it's pretty good, dude, get into another species, bro. And it will literally open up your eyes to everything, you know. And I'm talking a little bit more challenging species. Well, obviously, you don't want to have it reset your whole life. But, you know, if it's one thing I love about the ball python game, and I always give my love to the ball pythons, it's my foundation. But my dream, my big goal at the end of the day with this reptile game is to work with the snakes that are in this room. And there's not one fucking ball python in this room. Let me just tell you, okay? This is my glory room. This is all my emerald tree boas, you know, Miss Willie lines, green tree pythons, and, you know, green tree monitors. Like everything I hope to God, I wish I could successfully be good at breeding someday. Not to make money off of. I just want to be good at breeding on it. That's this room. That's this room, and ball pythons brought me to all that. I'm telling you right now. So who knows? Yeah, you could just be really happy with the ball pythons, but they do get boring after a while.
Gotcha.
Just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay, listen, got to ask you, what's something out there really grabbing your attention project-wise when it comes to, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of powerful codoms out there, right? Because everyone's obviously it's triple recessive, which we could talk about the recessive stuff, but I want to talk about an important codom to you. What's a codom that you feel like is going to really help get you where you need to get when it comes to no matter what project you're working with? Like what's the very highest relevant codom in your projects?
Yeah, what I would say is, you know, what I'm looking for right now is, you know, what I would like to put with a lot of my females, and it's all about timing, right? I want to make sure that I don't want to go purchase some $10,000 to $15,000 male, that my females are not ready. But I obviously, like a desert ghost clown, even like a multi-gene desert ghost clown would be. I've got. Let's see. I got a couple of double hats. I got a lot of other visuals. I got visual desert ghosts, obviously visual clowns, but I don't have any. And I have double recessives, but I don't have any visual DG clowns or anything like that. So
hold on, Anthony. Are these just DG clown stuff, or is there codoms with it? Is it just the recessive?
Say that again. So that was a lot of different snakes that I have. So I would say I've got. I purchased a couple of double recessives from who was it? Oh, Adam Chandler, Showcase Serpents.
Right.
A couple double recessives from him. Essentially, just kind of putting those in the bank for the future, for desert clown projects, and then just all of my clown females that are growing up. So that in the future, as they're ready, I've got some of them that are ready. I've got about half of them that are not ready. But I would say in the near future, I would be looking for like a very nice desert ghost clown male that would then be able to create a couple more recessives. So trying to stack into the triple recessive as well.
So respect, but that was not my question.
What were you asking?
Listen, like, okay, I might have fucking confused you too, and I'm sorry if this was my fault, but I'm saying that everything we just talked about, I want to talk about, but I'm saying codom, like a gravel, something that's not a recessive.
Oh, sorry. You're saying one of my favorite codoms.
I'm saying, you know, I mean, hey, if you're not working with any codoms, you could just say that too, but I'm saying, what is the most relevant codom to your projects right now? What's an important, like, you know, like I said, gravel, yellow belly, you know, fucking asphalt, there's a stranger, acid, you know,
Sure.
the codoms.
Sure.
You know, I'm curious about that.
Blackhead is probably my favorite right now. I've got blackhead. I've got blackhead and clowns. I've got blackhead and pieds. Actually, our very first clutch that we had was a male that I purchased from Justin when I barely knew who the guy was, but I knew I should probably buy something from him. And it was a blackhead male. It was a blackhead spot nose. Blackhead spot nose leopard yellow belly het pied male. But heavy het pied, one of his, like, you know, carrying the chain, right? And then I had a female black pastel pied, and that was our very first clutch. And I've got 4 of the babies sitting here behind me, and one of them, they're all beautiful. I've got one that's a blackhead, black pastel. It's got to be leopard pied. It's just beautiful, black and white. Those were our very first ones. I actually had Jason Kittinger. I bought a really nice acid spot nose clown male from him, and he nice guy. He literally drove from Florida and hand delivered it to me, which was great because Jason got to come in and see everything that I had here and gave me a ton of pointers and, you know, so much experience that he has, that he was able to go through. He literally, you know, took as much time as I, you know, that he would give to me, and we went through like everything. And he, you know, he even helped me out. I had one of the eggs hatch, and it was apparent that the umbilical cord was wrapped. It hadn't absorbed all of its yolk. And he's like, we can try to save this, and this is how you do it. Otherwise, I was like, I have no idea what the heck I'm doing here, you know? So he helped out a ton. But, you know, I'd say blackhead is definitely love the blackhead, love black pastel as well. Obviously, most people know, I didn't really capitalize on this, but, you know, I bought Justin Kobilka, obviously, his third male Pompeii that he ever produced. I purchased that from him, and I picked him up from him in February of this year. At that time, I had no Instagram that was dedicated to reptiles. And so, you know, Justin just put my personal Instagram account, and I honestly, I probably had, I don't know, 500 plus requests for my personal. And I'm like, maybe I should have capitalized on this in terms of the promotional value of buying that snake from Justin. And so that was about the time that I started to think, okay, maybe I should do something. But in my mind, I also I don't really want to do this until I, you know, put my first clutch together. And frankly, it just wasn't weighing on my mind at all. But ultimately, we decided to, hey, throw a name out there, Joy 7 Reptiles, which is actually based off of some of my other companies.
Is this your personal? Or is this your actual is this your reptile page?
This is our new reptile page. Yeah. Yeah.
Has Justin shot it out since?
Yeah. If you scroll down to the very first page or the very first post, that was just me ripping that picture off and saying, hey guys, does anybody still remember me?
Yeah, no, we need to talk to Justin. Needs to hook you up. He needs to go back and he needs to give you another shout out. First and foremost, I'm gonna do some of Justin's part right now. Go, guys, everyone go to Instagram right now. Please go give this guy a follow right now. Joy 7 Reptiles on Instagram. And then I'll talk to Justin and he'll give you a shout out and make sure that everyone is not following your private page.
Thanks. Yeah. So I mean, I still have people that'll, because I think that's that original post, and it's fine leaving it the way that it is, but it still has my original personal, and so I'll still get every once in a while, probably more so than, not even more so, but I still get a lot of requests on my personal page for people that it's apparent that they're into snakes and they're snake breeders, or they just love snakes or reptiles in general, and I'm like, I know you're not coming here to look at my kids' soccer pictures, so so how about you go over here? I'll share that with you. So that's what we've been doing so far.
If it's one thing I cannot help but to not want to talk about is getting burned or getting fucked over, whatever. Because listen, with all due respect, Anthony, you got to be ready for it. No matter how much your luck is, no matter how much you go thinking, oh, everyone loves me. Oh, I get it. Oh, this is all going great. Dude, it's gonna happen.
It's reality, whether it's here in this hobby or hobbies or in the profession. I mean, heck, one of my companies, I had a guy texting me for the past 3 nights, just driving me insane that had nothing to do with reptiles. So I'm just saying, in general, you're going to get burned no matter what, right? And just like you said, be prepared for it, know that it's there, and that it's sometimes just part of the game, and learn from the mistakes if there's something that you could have done to hedge up and be safe about it. And I would say, one of the ones that I can think of, I don't even remember the person's name, and that's the problem, right? It was essentially, it was a female that I purchased from Morph Market. It was a female clown, and they had promoted that this clown was, had hit 1,000 and was over 1,000 grams. And it was priced very competitive. And at that time, I think I will buy within 5 minutes of them posting it. So I paid for it. They shipped it to me. When they got it to me, that thing took a big dump and was like 600 grams. And I'm like, dude, it's 600 grams. It's got scarring on its face. Like, none of this was disclosed whatsoever. And the guy said, I'll give you your money back, and then just went cold on me. Like, I've never seen that person again. So I at least have the animal. I'm sure there's people that are in worse off situations than I am there, but it was a little bit frustrating when, especially if you're trying to buy, let's say you're trying to invest in, mixing into your current females, a female that's, maybe hit that 1,000-gram wall and has gone over that 1,000-gram wall, which is what I thought I was getting. I thought I was going to get a female that, maybe I can get this female here. Maybe it hit the wall with him and I can help get that female, continue to put on some weight. And that really hasn't been the case. So that female is really still at 1,000 grams still, and it's been about a year. So, and like you said, you make investments and it's no guarantee, right? I bought that female thinking that I was going to get that female within the next 6 to 12 months to a nice breeding size, and here I am a year later, and she does what she wants to do. I try to feed, but I'm not going to force anything on her. And, she's just kind of maintained her weight right now. So
has anyone kind of broke down basically why a snake would shut off food, like the whole 1,000-gram wall thing, right? Like that whole I can't stand that saying, but that even that being what it is, has anyone or have you figured out what it is that makes a snake shut off food?
I honestly haven't paid that much attention to it. I don't really look at it too closely, other than, like you said, it's been said, whether it's in the industry, whether it's true or not. I just simply was,
Well, it's not. It's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna hook you up.
Good.
And you can take this however you want it. Anyone out there, that fucking 1,000-gram wall, any wall happens from not letting your fucking snake digest before feeding it again. There's no right, because you understand there's a very different technique of how you feed your snake, especially adults. People go weekly, people go bi-weekly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone I looked at or anyone I visited facility-wise that fed their snakes weekly, fed them very small, very, very small meals. I'm talking about their biggest female is taking a small, like their biggest female. Let's talk about a 3,000, 4,000-gram female is taking a small at the biggest, okay? Everything else is basically on an average on a weaned rat if it's being fed on a weekly basis, okay? And then you have other people like myself. Within the last year, I just adjusted this, but I was embedded in my mind that this 1 week, every snake needed to eat every 7 days. I always thought that was like the 101 when trying to breed ball pythons. But I noticed anytime that shit happened to me is when this fucking snake was so backed up. And you got to understand too, think about you when you've had too much food. Like think about a human, like even if it's your number one restaurant you want to eat at, if you're fucking full, you're full. You know what I'm saying? These snakes are kind of groomed to eat whenever there's food around. But there's a time naturally in their system, there's a time where there's no food. You know what I'm saying? So that's naturally how things go for them. So what I mean is they're opportunists. Like they'll always eat. You're going to fucking feed it. They'll eat. It's kind of like, what was those damn goldfish? Don't fish. Can't fish eat themselves to death? Isn't that a thing where if you just keep feeding them, they just don't care and they'll die, right?
A lot of fish will overeat to the point where they'll,
Well, guess what's really hard to kill? A ball python. Bro, you have to be one neglected piece of shit to fucking kill a ball python, okay? It's to the point where, they'll eat how much you ever want to feed it, but there will come a point in time where they shut off. And, I've had females, it hasn't happened a lot because I adjusted this, but I've literally had to put off a project for almost half a year because this fucking female just wanted nothing to do with anything. And she was obese too. You know what I mean? Last thing you want to do is breed an obese snake. You're going to get fucking really shitty results. That's in anything you breed, So my theory is with any animal that's not eating on schedule or eating how the rest are eating, kick back on the feeding. You know what I mean? I think there's maybe too much. We're all different too. Think about how humans all digest food differently. You know what I mean? Like you have some people who could just eat, and you have some people who are just, they don't want to eat that much. So snakes or anything in general, I feel like even reptiles, like anything that feels like it's getting complacent or like they have nothing to work for. Like if a snake's like, I'm already full and there's more food, what's there to be fucking like ready for? I'm good. Like they're not built like that. Like you want your snakes to be always hungry. Like that's I feel like is the kind of characteristic you should want in almost any snake. You know what I mean? Like they should be always ready to eat. But that's not the case for a lot of these people's breeder snakes because they over fucking feed the shit out of their snakes. And I feel like that's what happens with the wall. That's my prediction. Just saying.
Gotcha.
So listen, everyone has different ways of doing things. I think you need to pay attention to your collection. If you have a snake who is always slamming food and literally has a perfect frame, everything looks good, then don't stop what you're doing. But if you're somebody who is always experiencing these walls, like I don't think that's not a common thing. I don't think. I mean, I feel like that's a very noob thing. I talk to a lot of experienced breeders who don't have these walls anymore. I can tell you that. But a lot of people who have like the old bad habits that I had about just feeding. Well, dude, that's what's causing the wall. But keep in mind too, check your temps. There's a lot of things you got to check when a snake's not eating. Okay. I could tell you right now, but if it's a subadult or nothing ready to breed, it should always want to eat. If it's not eating, you should be concerned about the rack temps. Or even, it's even sometimes just as easy as switching the environment, if it's on the lower part of the rack, put it on the top. And sometimes that just switches things up. But I don't believe in this wall thing. I don't think I don't think it's something that you should just lax on and just be like, oh, no, you should kind of look deeper on it and see exactly how your feeding regimens are for all your other snakes and just kind of see how their body frames are. Because I'm telling you, the obesity thing is a huge problem, not only for ball pythons, but anyone in general. Just Americans in general have a problem with overfeeding. Look at ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real about it. But don't you feel better after your snakes eat? I do. I'm like, yeah, like they ate. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think naturally we think we want to feed our snakes or animals, but they don't need all that food. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like I said, everyone does stuff differently, but I can tell you right now, that wall thing for sure stopped once I kind of took into consideration on how I fed my animals and made sure I fed them in right timing where, they drop their shit. Sometimes I feel like I look at a snake and I'm like, dude, you don't need a meal. I think you need to drop a shit first, and I go on to the next one. They'll be fine. Snakes will be fine if you skip a week. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it is our job as keepers to keep an eye on that though. Just like the reefing shit and just the coral stuff, where if you see something that could potentially kill off the rest of the shit in the tank, you got to do something about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my take on it. Do you have anything to add on that?
No. I definitely would agree. I mean, from a feeding perspective, I'm not forcing anything down anybody's throats or anything like that. It's simply, it's like you said, opportunist eating, right?
Yeah.
If they're hungry, they'll. From my experience, which is very limited, I do my best to learn as much as I can. But I assume that they're opportunist eaters, feeders, and so if they're hungry, then they're going to eat, and if they're not, then they're you're going to say, I'll pass you up this week. No worries.
I mean, this kind of goes back to my point, Anthony, on ball pythons being really difficult to fuck up. Like, it's like, dude, they're easy. Like, they're very easy. Like, I mean, not like, I don't want to say easy as far as, oh, you'll hit whatever you want to hit combination wise. No, that's obviously come down to numbers. That's the luck part, right? But to get a female to ovulate, lay eggs, and stay alive, very easy. There's other this room that I'm in, that's not the case for a lot of these snakes. Chondros, you got a heart, you ain't gonna have a heart after you keep chondros. You find out what to do with your heart. My heart's in my wife's room. It's there. Don't get me wrong. But when I'm in this room, what the fuck? If something dies, you can't let it get you, because these things are just fucking not easy. It's that crazy. But I can tell you right now, Anthony, anybody who I've interviewed or I'm friends with who's very good at keeping these things alive or keeping them successful at breeding have an ultimate food cycling program down. It's all about the fucking food intake, Anthony. And just because our ball pythons can handle it doesn't make it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I feel like we should all take an adjustment. You know what I mean? Like, I was really surprised and actually stoked when I heard Billy has been on this whole, feeding his collection once every 2 weeks. Like, I feel like I feel comfortable feeding my hatchlings once every week. That's just me. But I could totally see the adults. I could see the adults being fine on once every 2 weeks, and Billy's production is, and where he's at, it's unmatched. He's killing it. Like, Billy's only doing bigger numbers every year, and that's one thing about Billy. Anything that he does is pretty innovative. Like, he wants to do anything that makes his collection continue forward, like he's all about continuing on. So, I don't know. I took a lot of consideration out of that. And, but one thing I'm kind of getting at here is, if you have anyone out there who's highly respected in the chondro game or emerald game, you need to respect their food cycling game. You need to respect the fact that they know how to feed their animals, and that's why they're alive. Don't get me wrong, animals will still die. But if you want to know why these people are consistently good at it, they have the right food program down. And I feel like people should consider doing that with their ball pythons.
True. I agree.
All right, listen up. I'm curious how you feel so far overall. I mean, you right now you have your first. This your first clutch. Your first clutch happened this year. Was it last year? It was this year, right?
This year, yeah, yep. We've had our first clutch in July, and then our second clutch I just cut yesterday. Yeah. So
first off, how do you like cutting eggs? What does that do to you? Like, do you feel like you're doing something like it's fine, or does it kind of like feel fucked up when you cut an egg? And this is not to judge at all, because I cut like a motherfucker. I'm just curious. I'm curious with you. How do you feel when you cut an egg?
Yeah, just from my minute experience that I've had, I typically all I'm cutting is if they're starting to pip and I can see some pip lines come through, and I'm just trying to assist. That's all that I'm doing. So
yeah, I'm
not trying to get them out of the egg too fast. I'm not trying to wait till they're dead or anything either. I typically, I'd say as far as I know, I think around the 55-day mark is when I start looking at them and just checking to see if they've pipped yet, and then I typically check on a daily basis after 55 days to see where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, man, I really fucked up
with my 2 clutches that I've had.
Listen, I mean, this is all it takes is the first clutch to kind of just chill you out. I'm telling you right now.
Because I'll be honest, MJ, I wasn't prepared because I didn't think I was doing pairings, not thinking that anything was really going to take or anything, because it's like everything changed from never having a clutch to then when I first had the first clutch, it's like, holy crap, this actually works, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, now I've got a couple females that are popping, and guess what? I don't have an incubator, and so I had to maternally incubate those first clutches, and right. I literally just purchased my first incubator from Chris just this past weekend. And Chris is, I've obviously you can see behind me here, I've purchased several racks from Sea Serpents. Chris has always been great to me. So I've got several racks, several upstairs, and then everything else I just have one ARS rack, and I need to get another one now because I'm literally bursting at the seams on that one. So the overflows going into the Sea Serpent racks that I have. So it's.
I mean, listen, God bless your unpreparedness, but you know how easy it is to do it yourself incubator at home, right? Like, how simple that is for you to. Like, you could have fucking incubated those eggs. Well, listen. On the contrary, on the whole other flip side, maternal incubation, be able to check that off, bro. Dude, ball python or not, that is fucking sick. I'm gonna say right there, kudos. That's like, let's just say there was I don't know. Let's just say there was no such thing as a fucking refrigerator or incubation, like an incubator. Like, let's just say that this game, you could only maternal fucking incubate your eggs, bro. It would change everything. I'm telling you right now, bro. Like, so.
Our first two clutches were both maternally incubated. So luckily I got the incubator set up last night, and we had some new eggs laid. It was a Barnhart black pastel yellow belly clown, beautiful male, and it was to a female. Fire spot nose leopard head clown that I got from Milbrandt, I think. So I got the female from.
Josh Milbrandt, or is that?
Milbrandt and something. I don't know those guys. The guys that I know the most are the ones that show up in Texas, and I go talk to them. So I know those guys a lot. And amazingly, I've purchased a lot of snakes from a lot of well-known breeders. They probably didn't know who they were talking to at the time, because no one really knew who I was, and they probably barely still know who I am now. But I've purchased a lot of snakes from a lot of well-known breeders. Miguel. I think of even small stuff of like Brock Wagner. I got a female mahogany pied because I just wanted that in my collection to grow up for the future. Simple things like that where or the other, and I'd say the other part of that is from everything that I've learned was breed what I would like, you know, and what I like. And so there's just, you know, there may be something that's maybe not as high as dollar value. It's not a $10,000 snake, but I like the way that it looked. I like what it possibly could produce. And I know that its offspring would be something that I personally would enjoy. So I've purchased that. And it's still, you know, obviously still visual type of stuff. And so it's not the cheapest, but you know, that's the other part of me. And that's just my personal preference in terms of purchasing visual over you know, heterozygous type of snakes. I would say the majority of what we have is visual. So
I'll never say no to $300.
Listen, neither will I, but at the same time, I got to feed off his mouth.
Yeah, it's true, but still, like, I mean, it's better than getting that 300 and not feeding it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how deep you are, like, if you could just go ahead and cut that stop that bleeding, like, you know what I mean? And I was very, you know, because I got, you know, man, like I said, ball python is my foundation, but this room got me carried away, like away from thinking so heavily about the ball pythons and get into my own world. And so when I do think of the ball pythons, I'm like, well, I only want to produce the best of the best. I only want fucking, you know, to hit the most of the most. But I had someone here earlier this year visiting my place, and he produces 20, 30, 40K ball pythons. But he also told me, he's like, I got no problem selling a fucking $300 snake. I will never say no to that. And so what I'm thinking is, it's okay if I hit a bunch of snakes that are in that realm of that's still income. That's still like, and it's up to me to fucking move it. You got to move it. If that shit does all add up, you know, you can't look at it as like being a downer, you know, when you're looking at a clutch or anything. And I used to do that. I don't do that no more.
Well, so, and you know, I don't know, like, to take Ozzy, for example, I don't know him personally, but I've watched a lot of his videos, and I mentally have kind of thought about his plan, you know, the way that, you know, he even said, hey, I get a lot of crap from people because I'm selling off these female breeders, but he's always in the mindset, from what I understand, is that he's replacing with next generation snakes that, you know, may have additional, you know, genes and whatnot. I'll be honest, I'm not looking for a 1,000 snake collection. I don't want that, right? You know, but at the same time, what's that?
I said you shouldn't.
You know, I would say I'd rather have a smaller collection that, you know, the females are high dollar females, and then if I see a male that has something that's hot, that's, you know, that you know, within the next, you know, 6 to 9 months, I could have available to be able to pair with my females. That's kind of the program that I'm looking for and what I'm trying to create here.
And I feel like no matter what's a part of your program is keeping it fun. You just want to have, you know, you want to have fun. You know what I mean? And when you have 1,000 snakes to look after,
yeah, it's
not fun. It's not fun to remember certain things, you know, because dude, like, I try to always, like, my wife hates this, but I try to act like I can remember everything, right? And dude, we're only human. We can only do so much, you know, and you know, you can really play with fire here if you're trying to fucking spread yourself thin when it comes to these numbers. And also too, like, you know, you should be able to enjoy it. One thing I want to give mad respect to Ozzy Boyds for is, first off, these snakes aren't his life. Like, you understand, like, Ozzy Boyds created a fucking legendary brand, but he's more legendary in other stuff that he does in his life. You know, it's not just the snakes. So whoever out there just doesn't know that, know that. Okay. So with that being said, you got somebody like Justin creating Plan B facilities, and who knows where Justin wants to take this. That's not Ozzy. Ozzy wants to be the boutique, less is more. Whatever's relevant. Ozzy wants to have shit, the most relevant stuff that's going to take up space in his room if he's going to have it. And if not, he's going to put it out somewhere. And dude, you understand, that's a good thing for us. Like, that means this guy's putting other work in people's hands that they could do their own thing with it, you know? And who knows, they could take it to a whole other route that could just change everything, you know? And man, you know, I don't want to get personal. Me and Ozzy have our own, like, we have our own thing, you know what I mean? But I will never, first off, I never come at legends. Second, I have learned so much from Ozzy. I still learn shit from Ozzy just by other people talking about him on the show. But God damn, if you want to talk about one other person I respect the most other than Miguel when it comes to a business mindset in this game, it's fucking Ozzy Boyds. Like, the guy is so sharp. He is so sharp, and everything he does connects to his other businesses and what he does. It's all fucking like God damn, it's just so player. And yeah, I mean, and hey, yeah, you know, fuck it. You think he really loses sleep at night that someone's mad that he sold a female? He's losing this much sleep. The guy's fucking doing fine. Yeah, so, but hey, listen, respect anyone's level into this game. Do what you want. Go ahead. You want 1,000 snakes? You want 300 clutches? I know people doing it, and they're doing it, and they're I'm not gonna say they're happy. I mean, they're probably happy with the money, but their workload is through the roof. Like, they're I mean, it's hard to say that they're stressed out. I don't want to speak for them, but they're, you know, they have a workload. They have.
I would be stressed out. If that was,
you know, fuck it.
If it was
I would
be stressed out.
I mean, let's keep it real. Like, who the fuck wouldn't be stressed out? You know,
I like to go on vacation.
And you know, yeah, and even that being said, you know, Anthony, you'll get a good taste about how this shit will ruin vacations for you, because there will be a point in time where you might have 10 clutches in. I mean, we don't know when, but there might be a point in time where you have 10 plus clutches in that incubator, and you're in fucking Cabo or doing something with the family, and you know, you're waiting to see if there's a fucking $20,000 snake in there. You know what I mean? Or but what I'm saying is your mind's not with the family. Your mind is stuck at home. That's what this shit does to you. So be careful. Tread carefully, bro. You know, and that's why I respect your mindset on I'm not looking for 1,000 animals. Like you obviously here. I mean, obviously in the reef game, that's not about massive fucking let me fill the room with reef. I feel like it's about having something that's suitable for you, and you work with that. But you don't, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's so many levels to this, but stretching yourself thin with animals is not it. I can tell you that right now.
No, I've got plenty other projects, other things that I'm building outside of snakes that take up more of my time than this.
Well, because I will say things go wrong for us. Well, fuck us. What about the animals? Because if something happens to where you can't take care of the animals, now they're the ones getting neglected. And the animals that I'm not trying to get all fucking Mr. Conservation, fucking Mr. You know, I guess what's his name? Sorry, give me a minute. Carl. His name's Carl. So I don't know. You probably don't know who the fuck Carl is, but there's a guy who ruins us. There's a segment happens on my other podcast, Unfiltered Reptiles podcast. Go give a follow on YouTube. But his name's Conservation Carl, and he comes and he drops his points, and it's all about conservation on how basically us humans are the worst and animals are suffering. I'm not trying to be that right now. I'm just saying it does come down to not only if things happen bad for us, all those animals are going to suffer too. So, you know, just got to think of it as a whole standpoint at like when it comes to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, not knowing exactly what the future holds for what you will produce, but at this point, what's the holdback game all about? Like, are you looking to hold back as much as you can? Are you looking to stack? What is it all about when it comes to holdbacks or stuff that you want to let go of when it comes to your future clutches here?
I have no idea.
Honesty, I love it.
Because I look at what I'm producing right now, and I would say I would glean probably if it's something that I would say it would advance a position that I want to be into, then I'm going to hold it back. If it's not, then there's no reason for me to hold on to it. Like you said, let somebody else have an opportunity to do something that maybe you weren't going to do, right? Like I've got some, you know, with this very first clutch, I mean, I've got some real nice blackhead, black pastel pieds, but I've got one that's got a lot more genetics there. I don't need all of those snakes, you know? So I may keep one or two of them and maybe sell. I don't even have a page on Morph Market yet, you know? So I'm not even there. so my kids were like, "Hey, are you gonna have a booth at NARBC?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna have a booth. What am I gonna do?" So they're kind of like, "Well, is that what you want to do, Dad?" I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I'm just not there. I'm just kind of enjoying the first fruits of my labor here. So we'll see. I have no idea. I really don't. I'm excited. I'm excited to produce things. I think one of the other parts of this was very intriguing to me was that, I think we're gone away from the emphasis of world first, because literally everybody has a world first, like every time, right? Like everybody's always creating world first now. So that's not that big of a deal. But I think what's
listen, if you really want to piss off people who've been in this game and have done nothing in it, go ahead and start saying you have worlds first. And you'll see they start coming out of the fucking, like, out of the dirt, like fucking like Michael Jackson Thriller. And they go, "Oh my God, look, you create a world." Oh, they hate it. But listen,
right.
Gavin said it best. Okay, Gavin, balls to you. I don't know if you follow Gavin.
No, I know of.
One of UK's finest. I recommend you following Gavin. Balls to you. But
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's about world's best. It's not about the world's first.
I like
it's
that.
About it's world's best, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you made the first version of something, but what like, let's see the best version of it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, like I said, in respect to the people who can't stand that whole world first saying, but not to take back anybody who's making shit like that, but I mean, I feel like the quality should be coming first of anything that's considered like, oh, I hope I can name this now or whatever. But
right.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen, if you're that motherfucker who's 200K deep into this game and that pairing that you had was like a 20K pairing and you feel like you got a world's first, you got a world's first. Name it what the fuck you want. I'm going to tell you right now, name it what you want. Fuck anybody who's mad. They're mad. That's a different level. That's all I got to say. Don't people, because listen, I don't know if you've heard me rant about this before. I don't know. Have you kind of dabbled in YouTube, like YouTubers on reptiles? Have you kind of like seen a good range of different YouTubers on reptiles yet? Like just kind of going through people?
No. The only thing I see on YouTube would be like what Miguel produces or what Justin produces. I don't have a lot of time in my day. I really don't.
Right. Well, hopefully this information I give you will make you skip this shit if you ever run into this guy, because don't even waste your time, okay? Because there's a guy, and everyone knows who the fuck I'm talking. I forget his name, but he has a purple shirt. There's a purple shirt guy, right? And I've watched his fucking YouTube videos, one of the very first YouTube videos. And, don't get me wrong, he's had some cool codom combos and was able to explain them. But as things were progressing, it was always the same shit that he was putting out. Now let's kind of speed things up to right now. Right now, he's Mr. Don't invest in anything over $1,000. Nobody has that money. Nobody could fucking, like, you're not going to be able to sell that snake. Nobody's in this game for $5,000, $10,000 snakes. Keep in mind, he's never made a $5,000, $10 snake his entire life. Actually, he has the same purple shirt to this day, and he still does the same fucking vlogging from the same room with the same melamine. Like, nothing has evolved. And I pay attention to that. Like, if you see something that has never upgraded throughout the years and you're like, wow, that's still identical from 2016.
Right.
What the fuck? Like, that's holy shit.
Here from a pure investment standpoint, and if you're not bringing, if you can't, not saying that you have to produce, but if you're working with the same pool of people, unless those people are making more money somewhere else, that you're not going to have a lot of growth. And so I see, like, even just in the past 2 years, there's been a lot of new money that's come into this, and it's from what people are putting out there. It's from the promotional quality, whether it's this podcast or what somebody's putting out there. You're enticing other people, like myself, for example. I was not in this industry 2 years ago, but I came into this industry and I brought the money that I have that I didn't create from this industry. I brought my money into this industry and essentially piped it into this industry. And for growth in this industry, you need to continue to find those people, not just that are currently in the industry. If you want true growth, it's to try to bring people more people into this industry that have that you can create a desire for them to be able to increase the capacity, which ultimately increases your ability to produce more animals in the future. That's like I was saying, that was one of the things that enticed me, was that, you know, you can take something, two animals, and you know, unlike what you were doing, you know, but take two animals that can work together and create something that may or may not have been created in the past, or it's something that you really like and you haven't seen, and maybe you want to produce it and keep it for yourself. So
well, here's the thing, bro. Like, there's some people who have such a crazy influence to where no matter what they say, they'll fucking hold on to it. And they, you know, they can literally stop a potential that they could have that outgrow. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people who've been doing this for years, Anthony, that don't want to be outgrown. They don't want to get passed up. It does something to them. It's like a weird fucking little thing with them. Like, you know, like, instead of them just worrying about what's in their own project, they're scared to see either the person they're mentoring or their closest friend or whoever they enjoy looking on Instagram do better than them. They don't fucking like that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's
to be honest, from any industry, not just this one, from any industry.
It's the nature of the humanity. It's being a human. Right. It's being a human.
You're stifling growth. And no one should have that perspective. If you're on an island and that's where you want to be, perfect, right? But if you want to promote the industry, if you want to promote growth, if you want to see what this animal and this, what's next and what the potential is that you need to promote those people that, like myself or others, that are curious and want to be a part of it and are willing to invest money into it to try to create new and different things. It's all beneficial for the industry, and I would, that's my perspective.
Yeah, and listen, and I feel like at the end of the day, there's no problem in, dude, I feel like if you're creating life, good for you. That's amazing. Like, I don't give a fuck what you're breeding. You're breeding. That is so cool. But you don't ever see big breeders bashing on people making small shit. If they want to do what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? But if you have somebody who believes in a certain breeder and wants to invest, let them fucking do their thing. Who are you to say to tell that person what to do with their money? And right. You know, but you got other people chiming in from other species, like the retic game. Oh my God, the retic game hates the ball python breeders because they ain't making nothing. Retic breeders, yeah, you ain't making shit unless your name is Shane from fucking SE Constrictor. Unless you're Aubrey Pruitt. There's like, I could count on 2.5 fingers how many fucking you motherfuckers in the retic game are actually making money because how fucked up the market is. So a lot of those people who are working with something who just aren't making money, of course they're going to be mad at the people making money. But listen, just get into the ball python game. Stop being a hater. What's your problem? I can hook you up. Anthony can hook you up. We can hook you up. Stop hating.
Right.
That's what it comes down to, man. Because listen, bro, there's some salty motherfuckers. I got people, I will never name them because I do like them. They're my friends. But goddamn, are they salty? They're so overseeing people making money in the ball python game. And they're over there just wholesaling their shit, selling whatever they can. And like, dude, don't be mad at nobody but yourself, bro. And you know, stop fucking ball python. If you're doing good in the ball python game, you are very player. That's all I got to say. Sorry, that's it. The rest, they wish. I can tell you right now, there's people out there who fucking eating Chef Boyardee right now. You know what I'm saying? And they're wholesaling their carpet pythons for fucking $250, and they could barely hold on. That's not our fault. That's not the ball python community's fault. That's your fault, okay? You got to fucking be player at this. You got to evolve. You got to know how to move, and that's it. But that also goes to even how I was telling you, Anthony, like, even though the ball python game is as solid as it is, you know, if you're really looking to do this on a breeding standpoint, you should be working with more than just ball pythons because diversity is everything. If you really want to become a fucking legend or a legacy in something, you got to grasp things from every section. You got to get people from everywhere to look at your stuff. And the thing about a ball python breeder who only does ball pythons, they only have ball python people looking at them. Like it's a niche. It's just how green trees and everything else, right? But if you had something else in the mix, that means whoever's looking or working with that stuff is going to look at your other stuff. And
sure,
diversity will help you big time in this game, you know, but obviously it doesn't mean get whatever the fuck you want. Just do what you love, man. That's it. You know, just, you know, it's like adding another stuff into your fucking tank. Like you got to be smart about it, but if you love it, do it, right? Like if you feel like this will be a good addition and you're willing to figure it out, then do it. And that relates to you adding another species, maybe chondros. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like you do good at chondros. You look like you'd be really good at chondros, man. I don't know. Call me cuckoo, but are you following any chondro guys out there or any arboreal guys out there right now? Or are you just all ball python world right now?
It's if I see something pop up and it's interesting, I may click on it and like it, and maybe follow it. And honestly, there's maybe put on the back burner, So I don't know him, Bill. What's his name here in the DFW area?
Oh, you mean the mayor of Chondro? You mean the mayor of Chondro Town, Bill Stiegel? Yeah.
I know he's like right in my backyard, and I don't even know who the guy is, and that's my fault. I've never reached out.
Listen. Hey, Anthony, I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. Okay. Because if you want to talk about, understand. Obviously it's out there, especially if you're part of Justin's Patreon page, or if you're just a friend of Justin, he keeps chondros. And I was there in person when he went over to Bill's and he became a chondro breeder. I saw the conversion. I was right there. Saw it all go down. So all I got to say is be ready. When you go over to Bill's, first off, I'm going to be there because I want to see that. And second, just be ready. Because the conversions are, when you go to, if you're a chondro guy, you follow Justin, or you just love chondros, you go to Bill's, it's a fucking wrap. I'm telling you, man. You want to talk about being inspired, especially if he's in your backyard. Oh man, you're dude. I was just in his backyard. Go look at my most recent post. I'm in his pool, just living life. God. just living life. But listen, if it's one thing about Texas, God bless Texas. Listen, one thing I didn't get to say, we got really caught into conversations of things, but I want to really hope and pray everyone's okay with this fucking hurricane that's about to hit Florida. I hope everyone out there is prepared. I just want to say we're all thinking of you guys. So just be careful out there. We were talking about how some people get really bad shit luck into this, and it's nothing that they did wrong. What about Texas and that fucking cold front you guys had about over a year ago, and a lot of people's collections got fucking frozen. They died.
Yeah.
We're not ready. These drastic weather changes could hit any of us. So Florida, listen, we love you. I'm sorry I didn't shout out earlier. I got carried away. But North Florida, the South, that whole area, please be safe. My thoughts are with you. And I just had to say that. Sorry.
What would be interesting, and I remember after that happened, I reached out to Justin and I asked him hey, with everything that happened here, what I would love to see is someone like yourself, or, even you, MJ, putting on the podcast, would be looking at here's all your pythons and here's everything that you have. What's your backup plan? What have you put in place? What have you invested in? What have you invested in to safeguard your system? And I bet you'd probably be amazed at how many people would be interested in that type of knowledge, because maybe there's a lot of breeders, new people like myself. I have solar panels on my house, but not everybody has that, right?
Or maybe this could help people get ahead of the curve. And what I mean by that,
right,
bro, there might be a point in time where if you want to keep reptiles in general, there might be a law showing that you need to have an evacuation plan in play. Okay. And if in California, it's crazy. I just thought about this right now because shout out to my boy Andre, Herper Andre on Instagram, and him and his wife Hillary own Aviary Behavior International in San Diego. Basically, he has a bunch of fucking permitted stuff. Like he has fucking birds from Africa, crocodile. Huh?
Are you in San Diego?
I'm in San Diego. Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
I was just there in June.
Oh, nice. Well,
didn't know you did.
Sorry. Yeah, it's all good. But so this guy has stuff in California, basically would be illegal without permits, but he has permits for everything. And I asked him, I'm like, dude, what's the deal with the permits? Like, how does it go? Like, how's it work? And they need an action plan for fucking everything. And that comes to bites, escapes, a fire. You know what I mean? If there's a fucking, if you're, whatever. So, dude, what a good idea. I feel like if you could have that on a fucking Excel or like on a Word product, like just like, because you got to understand, like, think about a company that has HR or has a code of conduct or something that needs to happen in case of an accident. We should all have that for our collection.
Right.
Like, dude,
why wait? Emergency plan, right?
Why wait for that to happen? And listen, my big emergency plan is be here. But that's not always the case, there are the limited times of the year where me and my wife are gone, and I put everything in the hands of either my number one keeper or my dad or whoever, and that's when things can go wrong. And they're not trained. They're not fucking how they wouldn't be able to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Not even my wife. Like, my wife holds it down, but there's things where if she were to come in and see a fire, like, how shocking would that be to somebody who's not ready for that? Like me, I dream about having fires. Like, it's like, I feel like, oh my God, like, dude, why do you think sometimes I pop out of bed at 4 a.m.? I just feel like, is my animals okay? Like, I'm a fucking concerned reptile parent 24/7. And I feel like if you're that way, it's okay. A lot of us reptile keepers don't sleep a lot. We don't. I'm a big napper. Don't get me wrong. I'll get my naps in, but there's so many things that you should do. Man, God damn, what a good point, Anthony. I wish I could hug you right now. That whole protocol thing. My big thing is, like, I installed Nest alarms. I have Nest alarms all through my house, right? I can't even smoke. Like, I have to take my Nest alarm off so I could smoke weed in here. If it picks up any smoke, everything goes off. And you should have that. That's important. Phone notifications, everything. Like, hello, we live in a fucking world where everything is remote. You could do everything from your phone now. If there's a temperature overage or whatever, like, you should be on top of this shit. Like, and that's what separates the lazy keeper from the keeper who wants to grow. I'm a lazy person, but I don't want my animals to die, bro. Like, I don't want nothing bad to happen. So I'll do the extra mile, Anthony. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's just
have this. What is this? These sensors.
Yeah.
I literally have this right here on my desk that I just bought.
Crucial. I love sensor push.
And the gateway, because I don't want to. I want to be able to be away from it and be able to see
if it wasn't for our sponsorship fallout, me and Sensor Push would be good friends. But listen, I will say, like, there's Sensor Pushes, there's GoVs, there's VivTech. Okay, VivTech's not a sponsor, but I will say VivTech is the future. Do you know what VivTech is? Have you heard of VivTech?
No.
Okay, I'll send you that link as well after my vlog, after the show. But VivTech is ran by Ryan McVeigh and his wife Erica. Ryan McVeigh worked for Zilla for a long time. You heard of the company Zilla, right? It's like a pet store brand. It's nationwide, Zilla, right? But he worked for an industry that didn't want to, like, do things better. Like, think about how many pet products, like, you go to Petco, you go to PetSmart, and it's like, it's really not ideal. Like, there's a lot of shit that's just like no one's really teaching us how to keep reptiles in Petcos and the PetSmarts, right? But here we have these major companies putting all their products in there, right? So Ryan is somebody that, and fucking God bless people like Ryan, but Ryan is always thinking about how we can do better. And so he stepped away from Zilla. He created VivTech, him and his wife, and now they have, apps, husbandry apps. They have sensor pushes in a sense, but they're called VivTech pushers or whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know, but they're on that same tip. So there's a lot of things out there. And that's what I'm saying. It's not like hard to find out that there's things out there that you could put into your collection that give you a peace of mind that things are okay. Because, dude, things will go from okay to not okay very quick.
True.
That's it. You got to be ready for it, man. Like, dude, one of my best friends, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know how much you know about any other species that's like the unicorn of this shit. You ever heard of a Boelen's python? You know what a Boelen's python is?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
My dreamiest species. Like, I have a lot of awesome shit, but I don't have a Boelen's python, and that's number one in my book. And I had a buddy of mine, one of my best friends, Ari, and he's one of these individuals who he's wrote a book on the Boelen's. Okay, he has gone to Papua, has got malaria in the mountains of this shit to go do research for these things. Like, has done the most craziest things for this species. Okay, so this guy, who is passionate as he is about this species, had a room full of Boelen's, his own private collection, that caught on fire, all burned down, and they died.
Wasn't that like, was it in the Northeast?
Yeah, Johnson City. It was in Johnson City.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he's on property where he's running a zoo, Zoolandia, no, excuse me, Reptilandia, which is in Johnson City, and it's like fucking Jurassic Park. I did another vlog. I did a vlog on that place, bro. These enclosures, mind blowing, you know. But he lives on property, and he had his own private collection on his property, which caught fire. And man, like I don't wish this on anybody, but not him. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you understand how hard it is to breed the Bolins. Nobody's actually successful at doing it. This guy's dedicated his whole life to it, you know, and his prime collection burnt, you know.
That's tough. That's
fucking tough.
Really
he's okay.
tough.
You know, he's good. You know what I'm saying? But it can happen to anyone, and I don't take this shit lightly, man. I don't think anyone else should. And honestly, I have other friends out there who've instilled in my head that what we wake up and we see today might not be here tomorrow. Any other than a fire, a fucking disease, anything. These things could all be fucking dead tomorrow. So keep it fun, man. Like, you know, I love how even during the sound check, you told me, you're like, hey, dude, I'm just having fun, man. Like, you know, and Anthony, I've had people who literally during sound check thought they couldn't do it. Like they're like nervous. And I know a lot of people are like, they have their own way of not being on camera, but some people take what they say about their collection so serious that they're, and it's like, dude, chill the fuck out. It's really not that bad. You know what I mean? So the fact that I had you have that mindset right off the bat, that's a good thing, man, because it's all about having fun, bro. Just have fun. Especially with the family, you have kids. You want to be stressed around, you want to be stressed out around your kids? No, like they don't need that shit.
No, even in my other business ventures, I have other business partners that I've said I'm to the point in my life I've had enough success. I'm old enough that I don't need to do business with everybody, and I'll choose who I want to do business with, because there's a certain degree of stress that I don't need. I don't have to have. I don't need to kill myself for somebody else anymore. And so because of that, I can be selective of who I do business with. And luckily, you know, that hasn't been an issue here, you know, in this industry. Everybody's been super nice, and, you know, one random person here and there is not that big of a deal when I get to rub shoulders with a lot of other people who, you know, have success and are happy to share it with you and happy to see you be successful. Like you said, there's for every one bad seed, it seems like there's, you know, 10 to 20 that are willing to help and point you in the right direction. And that's just it's a great industry. It's a great thing to be a part of.
I also feel like if you look at it like this, you'll never go wrong. You don't need nobody, but you do need to be nice. And what I mean by that, if you're a fucking good dude, good woman, good chick, whatever the fuck, if you're loyal, you stay down, you're going to attract the right people. It's going to come to you naturally. But you don't need shit but to just be a nice person. You know what I'm saying? And everything will come to you. You got some people who build relationships with certain people who start getting mistreated by them, and they feel, well, fuck, this is all I have. Or if I don't, you know, if I stop being friends with them, who the fuck's going to like me? You don't fucking need nobody. Just have your own word, have your own fucking, just be a nice person. Everything will naturally float to you. And that's just how I feel about it, you know?
Sure. If anything, I wish I could get out more. You know, if I had more time on my hands to be able to just meet more people. That's the biggest thing I would like to do is that I'm just restricted with, you know, my time. Time is probably my biggest enemy. Is that I'd love to be able to get out and to see more people. Whether it's because not everybody can come to the Texas shows, right? Or they elect not to, which is perfectly fine. That's not that's not an issue. It's just a matter of, hey, you know, like I can't, you know, I'd love to go to Tinley that's coming up here, but I'll be in Houston. There's no way I could possibly make it up there, you know? And so there's opportunities that I wish I could go to meet more people, to see more people, just to, you know, see what other people are working on, what they're passionate about, what are they wanting to showcase. And, you know, I love to see what people create, to see the pride that they have in what they have created. I like to purchase stuff from those people, you know, because they've created something, and I hope that they look at me and say, this is the guy that's going to take very good care of what I've produced. You know, that's what I hope people see in me.
I mean, and also on the other end of the spectrum, going to a show and building a relationship with somebody you weren't even expecting to build a relationship with. Like, you just don't know what it's going to lead to. Like, I'm just telling you, it makes things more interesting versus just wondering what's going to happen, because there's people out there who are so caught up in their own thoughts. And, you know, I see it. I get fucking people who are like bitching about getting their first clutch. I'm like, you're bored. You know what I'm saying? Like, go build relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, go fucking make it more interesting. You know what I'm saying? There's
so much more.
It's all it takes. And I will say this, Anthony, it took me 3 years to make it. No, almost 4 years to make it to my first Tinley. Okay. And I've wanted to go to Tinley ever since I heard of Tinley. Okay. So just know when Tinley happens, it happens, and it will change your life. It will be fucking awesome. It will be great, because you will meet whoever in this game at Tinley. I want to say it's the Super Bowl shows. That's it. Nothing gets better than it. Nothing. Listen, I've heard other things about Daytona. I've heard Daytona is a poppin' show. I've not been to Daytona, so I can't speak on Daytona, but I have been to Tinley, and Tinley, not to be missed, man. So,
gotcha. Maybe you and I need to make a plan to go to Daytona this next year. Whatever it is, one of those things that I'd like to do as well. You know, so
let's do it. I'm down, bro. I'm down. Okay, listen, I got a wrap-up question for you before we get into some hot seat questions. Okay. With everything that's happened with you, up to date with your experience, if you had, I don't want to say your son, let's go with let's say your best friend, let's say an acquaintance, a good buddy of yours, right? And he wanted to get into this game. He was like, Anthony, I got a fucking 100K or whatever. I want to get into this. What would be your advice to a good friend of yours if they wanted to get into this game? Like, what would be like maybe a first couple thoughts that you would immediately think of to want to go ahead and make sure he knows about before investing anything into the ball python game?
I would take the same approach that I took. You know, like, find what you like in females first. Don't even think about males. You know, don't even think about males, because and be patient. Be patient. But these are the same things that I've heard from other people that I have admired and I respected. They said the same thing. And I would say that, you know, you come in thinking, man, I'm going to pop some of these clutches out within 6 to 12 months or whatever. But be patient. Be patient and enjoy what you're doing. You know, I even look at my kids. You know, my kids in general are probably a little impatient. You know, and I, you know, be able to for us to be in this 2 years and finally have our first clutch, I'm fine with that. And they're like, man, that's finally, Dad. but the reality, you know, they're kids, right? They're impatient. But be patient. And, you know, invest in females that you like, that you think that you like. You know, it doesn't have to be what's hot. You know, don't follow something that's hot that may not be that great in 5 years, or it may not be the hottest thing, or it may be a wasteful investment. Not a wasteful snake. Not talking about the snake as wasteful, but simply saying, you could be spending $10,000 that by the time it's viable for you in 3 to 5 years, it's $2,000, and you wasted $8,000 that you could have invested in some females that you could have been growing up and essentially growing your army of females that could be producing for you, if that's the direction that you want to go as a breeder. So, yeah, I would say find the people out there. I would say take my path, which is find the people out there that have good influence, people that you could trust, people that are going to be good to you, that are going to take care of you, you know, that are producing quality if that's what you're looking for, and invest in females. You know, your first, you know, it depends on how much you're wanting to, if it's 100K and how far do you want to stretch that 100K? You know, are you talking about 20 females? Or are you talking about 40 females? And, you know, are there certain projects that you're wanting to get into? You know, there's a lot of variety out there in the direction that you could take.
Yeah, respect. I do got to ask you to capitalize on that. What's one thing you look for when it comes to you thinking a seller doesn't give two shits about your inquiry? Like meaning, what I mean by that, Have you ever seen any kind of signs where you're like, okay, I'm not going to go anywhere with this? Like,
in terms of my investments,
right? Like, spending, like, when it comes, because everyone has their different way of answering questions, responding to inquiries. Is there anything that you went through or anything that you see that's like a fucking red flag where you're like, okay, I'm going to take my business elsewhere?
Not necessarily, I mean, for the most part, and I'm not a loud guy unless I need to be, unless I'm threatened. And I've never been threatened in this industry. I've never been threatened,
Good.
But I'm also at a financial position that if I made a mistake, if I made a purchase that, let's say, someone guaranteed that it was XYZ and it's not XYZ, I'm probably more in a financial position that I'm okay. I'm not going to rat anybody out. I'm not going to go hightail it to them and say, hey, you effed me over or anything like that. I'm going to take my hit and just learn, but also know that I probably won't be doing business with that person ever again. And I'll be honest, people don't want to. You don't want to take that hit, right?
But understand how much power you have as a customer with your dollar. Like you back that person up by paying them. You know what I'm saying? So you vote with every dollar. So spend it wisely, man. That's it. You don't you don't have to spend money with shit after being treated like shit. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah. That's hey, I'm not going to be loud and obnoxious and blow anything up. You just don't get my dollar anymore, plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or from now on, he'll tell me and I'll fucking blow it up. I'll be obnoxious. I'm gonna back you up, Anthony. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you, bro. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I gotta say, man, this has been a great episode. All in all, man, I'm happy where you are heading with this, which is on your pace. You're on your pace. You're not on anyone else's pace. You're on fucking doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? And everyone has their own thing. So good to see what the Joy 7 Reptiles thing is. But guess what? You got hot seat questions. You're not just leaving here without sweating at least a little bit. You feel me?
All right. I'm a Virgo.
Oh my God. Here we go. Hot seat questions for Joy 7 Reptiles, the Virgo. You ready?
Go for it.
All right, here we go. Frozen Thought or Live?
All.
Nope. Listen, this isn't how this works, sir. Okay. This is a either or. You can't pick both. You have to pick one or the other. If it came down to picking, like let's just say you get free rodents, it's either fucking live rodents or live.
If I didn't have to do Frozen, I would do 100% live. And the only reason I've had to do Frozen is because that's another story. My kids.
Well, the hot seat questions is no explanation. Just fucking give us the answer, okay?
So, all right. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Go look at JP Reptiles. That was a fucking joke. Okay, so you're good. A cut or no cut?
What? You're saying to cut or not to cut?
Would you cut an egg? Or would you never cut an egg?
Oh yeah. No, I cut. Let's say conservatively cut.
On what day?
55 or plus.
Nice. I like it. Red chondro neo or yellow chondro neo?
I don't know.
You never seen a baby red chondro or yellow chondro before?
Oh, okay. But the reds don't keep their color, right?
Yeah, but what would you want? Would you rather have a red one or a yellow one?
A red to start out with, right?
Okay.
Is there any way that reds can keep their colors? Have we genetically mastered that yet?
I mean, reds come on all different levels of color, but they don't keep the red. It just turns into either a blue or crazy looking yellow or green. Like those, it's a blue, yellow, or green. Those are the trifecta colors. There's even some high whites and stuff like that, but those are the colors. There's no red, unfortunately. That red changes for sure eventually.
So
like I said, you go to Bill's, you're gonna see the most highest level of reds. I'm talking like maroon red. So I don't want to get into it. It's fucking nuts. So okay. All right. Anyways, moving forward. Favorite codom?
Favorite codom? Blackhead.
Least favorite codom?
I don't have pinstripe because I don't have it in my collection.
I would have said spider, but it's okay. You can say pinstripe. Okay.
Well, sure. But I have spider. I have one spider. I have we still have our numero uno snake.
That's sick. Favorite double recessive project?
Favorite or what I have?
Favorite. Well, what's your favorite double recessive project out in the game right now?
I want to be more into Desert Ghost Clown than I am.
All right.
That's what I'm looking for.
One recessive you will never work with.
I don't know.
You can't think of one?
Uh-uh.
Albino? You want albino in your shit? That shit's disgusting.
I got lavender. I got I'm not no, I don't have tons. But I love my inchy lavender that I got from Justin. That is like a strawberry. That is beautiful. Are you talking about lavender or just albino?
So you're saying lavender?
No, I love the lavender albino. One of my first snakes that I bought was an albino. I had a female albino pied upstairs.
So albino then. We'll go. You're safe with saying albino.
I thought we said pinstripe.
That's not a recessive.
Oh, sorry. We're on to recessive. Sorry. All right.
Albino. We're gonna go with albino.
Straight albino, sure, is my least of these.
To spray a ball python or to not spray a ball python?
With what?
Water. What do you mean, mist?
Yeah, I missed.
All right. Yay imports or boo imports?
I've never dealt with imports.
So would you stop it or would you let it happen?
I'm fine with it.
Like literally, I'm putting you in the position where you're in the chair. You could write the laws on imports being yes or no. Are you saying yes or no?
I would say yes.
What would be one reptile you could import to your collection anywhere around the world? Let's just say no matter what the kids were, the house, you could do anything you want. Let's just put it in a dreamy situation. What would be one reptile you would import anywhere around the world to your house?
I don't know. Despite whether it's...
Well, I mean, what would your favorite reptile be? A snake? Would it be a lizard? Would it be a turtle?
If it wasn't going to kill me, I'd say a king cobra.
Okay, there you go. I love it. All right, steak or fish?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh, is that a hard one? You look like you're sweating there a bit.
You're talking like 2 years in 20 years.
No. Steak or fish?
I thought you said snake.
No, to consume.
Fish.
No, to consume.
You have to choose between reef keeping or ball python.
Well, now that will be my last one. So thank you. But no, I'm talking about steak or fish. What do you prefer?
100%. Texas, my man.
Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
I don't drink.
How about yay sports or boo sports?
I'm missing the Cowboys game right now.
So yay sports. You're a sports guy.
My kids all play soccer. I travel all over the world for my kids' soccer.
Well, I'm scared to ask you this, but who's your favorite NFL team of all time?
Cowboys, man. Cowboys.
So you're not alone, Miguel. You're not alone. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
David Lee Roth.
Dude, sir, this isn't how this works. I respect how you threw that in. That's a great curveball. David Lee Roth. I mean, if we were to really say David Lee Roth, savage, but
David Lee Roth's Van Halen.
Okay.
David Lee Roth, Van Halen.
Okay. Respect.
Not Sammy. I was never a Sammy fan.
West Coast rap, East Coast rap.
If
you had to pick, if you just had to pick, like you had to pick.
Okay, I'm not. Who's who? Which record label? Who's who? Are we talking Tupac?
Dude, who do you like? I can't answer this for you. You have to tell me who what do you prefer? This isn't my feelings, it's your feelings.
But we all got to share our feelings.
So Tupac, I feel like We all got to share our feelings. That was funny. Okay, Tupac. You said Tupac, so that's West Coast. That is West Coast.
Which is Tupac and what?
That's fucking Death Row Records, Snoop Dogg, which is, you know. Okay, there we go. All right,
Yeah,
we're getting better.
West Coast, yes.
And that's Bill Stiegel's favorite, just so you know. So when we all meet, Bill Stiegel, West Coast all day.
I gotta meet that guy.
Here we go.
He sells chondros, right?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, if you could get lucky enough, which I'll hook you up, but bro, we'll get there. It's nuts. He's the next stuff. He's the mayor of Chondro Town.
Gotcha.
I mean, I made that up, but still, it's fucking crazy. Like, he's the man.
Great. Thanks for spending my money for me.
Almost done. Word association time. Little word association. First thing to come to mind. Here we go. Egg box.
What?
Egg box.
Egg box?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is that?
What the fuck you put your egg? Oh, dude, I forgot. You never incubated. I forgot. You don't know. Oh my God, I forgot.
You thought egg box. I said egg box, and I said we currently incubate.
There you go. And that's what came to mind. I love it. That's awesome. A lot of other people, like, you know, they say something other than that, but that's your experience. I love it. That's what makes it so iconic. Okay, here we go.
I got one box in my egg box right now.
Milk.
Ugh.
Cocoa.
Puffs,
Stuck shed.
Whatever. Say it again.
Stuck shed.
Pick it off.
FedEx shipping.
Yes.
Mites.
Ugh. Never had them.
First time ball python keeper.
Me?
Oh my God. Instagram trolls.
Instagram trolls?
Something you haven't experienced yet. So
no.
Probably doesn't relate to you. How about day 6? How about day 60?
Day 60?
Yeah. What do you think when you think of, we're talking, you know, obviously related to reptiles. What do you think of when I say day 60?
Are they alive? Dude, I had like
or cut.
Or right. Are they?
But dude, honestly, that's probably the best answer I could think of saying day 60. Like, are they alive because you haven't cut already, you fucking idiot?
I'm a new keeper, and I'm like, what do I do now? What do I do now? I get Justin on speed dial. He's like, quit calling me.
All right, here we go. Almost done. YouTube creator.
Not me.
If you had to get rid of one platform forever, and I mean forever, never coming back, is it going to be Facebook or Instagram? Which one has to go forever?
Probably Instagram.
Wow, Anthony, bro,
I'm an old dude. I'm an old dude, and everyone that I know is on Facebook. And my kids are on Snap.
We had about 80 people tapping in who were all Instagram people, and you just told them all to go fuck off. That's
no,
what you just,
no.
I don't know.
What I'm saying is, I'm an old dude. You said choose. And I have to keep my associations with the people that I know. Like all us old farts. All us old farts aren't on Instagram. I mean, I have an Instagram account, but it's really just me posting my kids' pictures. No one wants to really see what the heck I'm doing in my life, unless it has something to do with steaks now.
I'm not even saying this, bro, but this is definitely top 3 hot seat question experiences I've had. Only because, like you want to talk about someone just speaking from the heart. Like, you're just trying to give us the most honest answer, and I could see that. And that I mean, listen, if you wanted to, that was great. I'm not gonna lie, that was great. I mean, like I said, we had just over.
I'm gonna check my Instagram account, and I'll have like 3 followers now.
No, you're good. No, actually, everyone the followers are going up. I can tell you that. But that being said, listen, we had over 80 people tapping in for this episode, all showing you love and support. So
thank you.
Whoever part of that 80 is rooting for you and wanting you to do good, what do you have to say to all those people out there?
Thank you. I appreciate the help. if I don't know you personally, reach out. I'm a nice guy.
Obviously.
I'm an open book. I love to meet people. I love to learn, you know. I'm new at this, you know. I've only been doing this for 2 years. I love to learn. I love to, you know, even in ARBC, I know John from JD Construction.
That's my boy.
Yeah, and I just, you know what, I was talking to him about, you know, some of my frustrations of, you know, trying to get an incubator for the first time, and he laughed and he's like, yeah, I've never bought an incubator. And I was like, holy crap, you maternally incubate? And he's like, no. I've never purchased an incubator. I've always built my incubators. He's like, I'm like the 20 plus year old crew that have been doing this forever. I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, we didn't have the ability to just go right over there and buy an incubator. We essentially had to build our own. I'm like, oh, okay. So I should stop crying about not being able to get an incubator. He's like,
I mean, listen, dude, bro, the way I got into this, I mean, before I could even incubate ball python eggs, I was able to I was able to have a chondro, a green tree python lay eggs, and she gave me 32 fucking eggs.
Wow.
And they all died within a week.
You suck.
Oh my god, yeah, I suck. Here's the thing, like, listen, people see my passion for the chondros, and dude, they think I have them for sale. They think I'm like this. I'm like, no, motherfuckers, I could barely keep them for myself. Like. And like, that's why, like, God bless anybody out there who's like, hey, MJ, I'm going to get a chondro from you. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm going to get a chondro from me before I get a chondro from you. So shut the fuck up. Because, like, I mean, it's like, dude, you guys don't understand. Like, yeah, I would love to be that person to sell this shit, but I can't even keep it myself yet. Like, God damn. So please give me a break. But, man, Anthony, I'm happy I brought you on. Happy to see your energy on where you're at. Looking forward to seeing you again, and maybe, you know, next Texas show for sure. I'll see you right next NARBC.
Yeah.
Texas job. Now, with that being said, let's say time is on your side, schedule wise, even production. When would you say your next, or when would you say the show would be that you might potentially want to vend? Is that even crossed your mind yet? I
would say maybe like next September's NARBC, Arlington NARBC. I don't want to push anything. I don't want to rush anything. You know, I want to make sure, you know, listen, I'm just scratching the very surface of breeding here. So,
oh my God, yeah.
So,
yeah, like, listen, like, I understand how much you're just enjoying this, and even this that's happening right now on this show, it's just the beginning. Like, you're just now, like, going to experience where I come from.
Yeah.
Understand, bro. Like, people are crazy. Like, they're like, God damn, MJ, your energy is nuts. But, bro, I've had such a good time in this game. And you're going to see it, because it all leads to something. And
you know what? Tables are not expensive. I'm not new to the vendor game. I'm not new to
marketing. It's food. Okay, you want to talk about I had a good conversation with JD, and you know, lately the West Coast shows, there's been a lot of complaints from vendors not selling, but it's like, you understand that sales continue 30 days after you vend, after people go, they take stories, bro. Like, it's not about what happens right then and there. You have to fucking have the right positive energy to think this is about long term. This is about somebody who will remember me and know that I'm here next time, and they keep coming back. JD he's a fucking veteran in the show game.
Yeah.
Troy, a veteran in the show game. They don't stress sales. If they don't sell, they don't sell. Yeah, I'm sure they're like, God damn, that sucked, but they're not like, that's not going to keep them from vending. No, because guess what? Sales happen after the show, and that's what you need to have, that mindset. You need to stop fucking, like, people will always want to be that Bob Vu. They want to be that Levance. They want to be that fucking Kabelka. They want to be that guy selling 100K at a show. Motherfuckers, they've been doing this for years. Like, what do you mean? Like, dude, check yourself first and foremost. Go to a show just to show your face. Go to a show just to show what you're worth. Go show your fucking work. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And, you know, from a completely comparative, I'm comparing two different industries, but I used to in a different industry, I used to do at least 3+ shows a month, or I had managers, and I would go and I'd pop in, see how they're doing, and I'd pop out. I mean, we would spend $25,000 for one table.
Yeah,
You're not talking about
that's
$300.
crazy.
It's so it's like you said, it's money well spent to be able to get there, to put your face out there, to become more available, and it's not just about it is what you're producing, but I buy things from people that I like, and I'm loyal. I'm a loyal person, So
But they earn your loyalty though,
exactly.
too. And that's the thing. Like whoever will, at some point, you will be somebody's mentor, Anthony. Like you're gonna be somebody they're gonna like wonder how the fuck you do things, and they're gonna honor your word. Meaning meaning whoever it is at that point in time, or whoever you did spend money with, you're gonna let them know. Like, dude, this is the person. Like, this is who helped me out. That's what I do to this day. I fucking keep it 100%. And you know what's crazy is the ones that fucked me over, bro. I don't mention them. I don't. I never will. And you know what? I respect you for not mentioning it, even though I thought this would be a beefier podcast if you did. Don't get me wrong. But listen, that gives them anyone the time of day to go check them out. Fuck them. Fuck those people. We don't need to bring them up. They're their own worst enemy. Let them do them, and we do us. And yeah, big things popping for Joy 7 Reptiles. I appreciate this so much. Thank you, Anthony. I will catch you. Listen, we will be having a round 2 at some point. When that is, I'm not sure, but it will happen. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to seeing your work. But that's a wrap for Anthony Joyner, Joy 7 Reptiles, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Bro. I'll catch you later, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, MJ.
Peace out. Woo! What a time. Thank you so much. New Breeder on the Block series. A wrap. If this is your first time tapping in, please do your boy a favor. First off, if you were late tapping in, I saw those viewers go up for a second. If you were late tapping in, hit that like button. Let's get the likes up for the homie Anthony. Very excited to see where he's at mentally with this. A lot of people get caught up in their own things, man. Like, God. I will say, like I love Jordan, right? But people like Jordan are annoying because, and without me, I say without due respect, Jordan's doing it right. But how Jordan came in this game so aggressively and so fast, it made other people feel like they had to move fast and do things quick. You don't need to. Let people do their own fucking thing. If people want to dump money, if people want to come in and be Mr. fucking loud and, hey, I'm here, I'm that, dude, let them do them. That's fine. You got other people on another mission. You got other people doing things on their own terms. And that's what I respect. I got nothing against Jordan. Like I said, like, that's my boy, man. I've had him on here multiple times. He's proven himself multiple times. Okay. But also he created a persona that made it hard to prove himself. Like, I'm not going to say Jordan's, when I say Jordan, JP Reptiles, okay. And I missed the homie. I got to bring him back on, but Jordan did not make things easy for himself, only because how quick he was trying to move, how much he was trying to collaborate and do things. But that's him, and God bless him. He's killing it right now. But listen, do your thing. Come in at your own pace. Nobody's telling you what to do. No one's telling you how to do things. I just brought Anthony in by accident. Sorry about that. But yeah, I appreciate everyone tapping in. I will catch you guys. Oh, well, I will say, this Thursday night's going down. I have somebody coming to the round table, not snake related. Okay, let's be honest. How many of you motherfuckers out there were so curious about ants? Dude, ants, right? You're like, MJ, what the fuck are you talking about ants? Okay, let's be real. Ants are interesting. I remember like staring at like a colony of ants eating something. Ants are fucking just, they're no joke. And somebody out there by the name of Mikey Bustos, aka Ants Canada. Go check him out. Go look him up. Fucking viral. This guy is next level, all because of his passion for ants. And ants are not to be slept on. Bro, imagine that world that happens where ants are bigger than humans. We're fucked. They're going to eat the shit out of us. We're done. I don't know. I feel like Mikey could really elaborate a lot on this, but it's all going to go down this Thursday night. I had the pleasure of meeting Mikey Bustos from Ants Canada at Animal Con. That's right, Animal Con. That's why you should go to Animal Con. You go to Animal Con, you might be meeting people who are all loked out and player with ants. Right? It's going down Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much, Anthony Joyner. This was a great time. Joy7 Reptiles. Go give him a follow on Instagram. Okay? And I'm going to tell Justin to shout him out again because he deserves a lot more followers. This is ridiculous. Go get his followers up right now. He's killing it. Force to be reckoned with. Let's go. I'll see you guys next time, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's your boy checking out. See you Thursday.